Well, hello people, and welcome to another Cities Skylines 2 update video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Nearly 300 vanilla props have been added to the base game experience. This is crazy. In patch 1.1.8, which is now known as the decoration patch, this also arrives with a fix for the homeless bug, but by far and away the most interesting thing here is the addition of a decorations menu, which is incredibly exciting to finally get access to props in the vanilla experience. We've been asking for this since CS1, and we've been pushing heavily for it in CS2. And now it has finally arrived, and when you combine this with the services that were added last update, vanilla detailing is now very much a realistic prospect. So let's dive into this new menu, shall we, and see exactly what it is we're getting as part of these new vanilla props. So as you load into this new patch, you can come down into your usual landscaping menu. Now usually we would have just a couple of options here, spaces and areas, and the markers and prefabs, but now as we come along this menu we'll see nature, where we have a number of rocks through here. There's also a random rock selection as well, so it will alternate it between one of the variants. There's also the same thing here for boulders as well, so you can have that random variation without having to select another one each and every time. Coming into our park menus, you're going to find the usual selection of fountains that we've all been using from developer mode and find it. There's food carts here, of course. So just being able to make a really nicely detailed space is now possible, because all of this stuff was locked off before. I'm kind of in shock, to be honest, that this has been added. The only thing that's missing now from the vanilla experience is a toggleable collision. For example, I don't want to have to deal with that. Me and a few of the other content creators are really pushing for this to say, you've made a great step forward here with the props. Now let us just not have to deal with the collision here. If I want to add props here, I should be able to. So hopefully that's not too far away. So benches, of course, here, all the gazebos that we see on the parks are all now placeable as part of this update. So within a little district of your park, you can now place a gazebo. Maybe grab a couple of random rocks to decorate up the edge of the park here. Maybe you want a bin in there as well. And now thanks to this new menu, it's all possible. Your kiosks are also here too. You even get some of the homeless tents as well if you want to make a little bit of a homeless encampment now in vanilla. It's possible. That's our park stuff. Now coming on to potted plants, which is crazy, and this is exactly another reason why we need the collision mechanic coming back in here, because I want to be able to use this as a planter to place a tree inside it, which would allow decorating just to become so much more kind of involved, I think. So we'll get a ton of little potted plants to create some really unique and interesting planters. And to actually have planters as part of the vanilla game now, just to have that asset is going to make such a difference, especially to our vanilla experience, because up until this point, vanilla CS2 I think has been lacking quite a lot. But to have this now is, I can't describe it. It's so good. Can we get one in here? No, maybe we can't. Is it all going to overlap? Must be one thing that fits inside there, surely. So custom planters are now a thing. There's various combinations of plant pots here as well. All the things you see in and around the assets are now placeable. Moving on to residential props, this one is a huge menu. You're going to get all the different little goals and sun lounges you see in your back gardens. Again, of course, combined with the new services, detailed beaches are now possible. These little gas heater lamps, grills. Next menu, there's the parasols. There's the hammocks. It's so good. All of the playground stuff is here, so you can make custom playgrounds. You've got all the little sheds and swings. All this is here. There's hot tubs as well. A little tool sheds / portaloos if you wanted to repurpose them. There's dumpsters. There's trash containers. More tool sheds. All these little modular pergola pieces that we've been using to make tram stops look a little bit more interesting. All of these are here. That's really good. Even the full double pergolas too. If you wanted to bring these near some public transport or just a park space, right? Just any kind of park space. The wall fountains. So really extensive selection of residential props. Industrial props, just as good, absolutely fantastic. Not only do we get all the barrels and kind of the individual props, which has been so sorely needed for generic industry, just be able to embellish all these little areas around it. So actually head over to a space where we got some generic industry. I know there's some down here, isn't there? So exactly this sort of stuff, all the stuff we needed to find it for previously, you now no longer need it. Like, it dramatically improves that vanilla experience, you know? Being able to stack all these different props up just to reinforce the vibes that you can build up around your generic industry. I'm just so insanely happy that this is now part of the vanilla experience. It makes vanilla detailing actually viable, which is just absolutely huge. Lost for words. I really am. As I said, me and the other content creators, we're now pushing for a toggleable collision, so these props can be used without any kind of overlap or annoying error message that says, no, you can't place this bench over this tiny bit of pathway. And hopefully they will bring that in as well as part of another update. So those are your industrial props. You're even getting all these decoration manufacturing buildings to like really flesh out exactly what it is you can do with your industrial areas. And like we said earlier, when you combine this with the surfaces, you can just see how little custom districts are going to become so much more possible for CS Vanilla now. You're also going to get these little junk cars as well. So you can actually make a scrapyard in Vanilla now. Which is pretty wild to think, isn't it? It's really cool to see this playstyle getting quite a lot of attention. I'm very happy. So I'll say for industrial props, we could be there forever. Commercial is obviously pretty commercial inclined. You're going to get lots of tables and eateries out here. So you know, if you wanted to develop a little eating area in one of your parks, you can now do that. You get some little commercial tables on the edge here too. By the way, I have also loaded into Edinburgh. No problem with all the mods active, so it looks like there's going to be very little teething problems with this patch as the mods are updated. I believe a lot of them, thanks to Chameleon, have already been tested and signed off for this patch, so you shouldn't really notice any kind of mod teething issues with this new patch unless you're using something pretty weird and specific. Most mods will transfer very nicely. You're also getting the vending machines, which is great. Build up a bunch of vending machines around here. There's a newspaper vending machine over here as well. And then finally we come on to debris, which is all of your essentially destroyed decals. There's a random trash pile icon here as well for some trash detailing. There's the rubble pylons for, I guess, from destroyed buildings, I suppose. Trash piles and things that we've already seen. And then that is pretty much it, I think, at the bottom of that menu. So absolutely wild. So all of this available under your landscaping options to now present you with an absolute ton of vanilla props, which is just wild. it's crazy. This is a massive step forward for the vanilla experience, especially the detailing vanilla experience. These props combined with surfaces, the only thing the vanilla game needs now, in my opinion, is the toggleable collision, essentially anarchy, so we can just have these props exactly where we want them. And then after that, it wants a line tool, so I can place a row of bushes if I want without having to do them manually. At that point for me, I pretty much have what I wanted out of CS2 in a sequel. That very much kind of vanilla plus quality of life experience we built in CS1 is so close to being in CS2 vanilla now. A huge step forward with this. I'm just incredibly happy. And the second major part of this 1.1.8 patch is yet another fix for the homelessness issues that have plagued the game pretty much since it released. So they've changed this a number of times over previous patches, but you will still see random groups of homeless people stood on your street corners and lots of homeless tents in and around your parks usually. So previously they had a random check for where the homeless household would look for suitable homes in the city. This has been removed, and with patch 1.1.8, homeless will always try to find a suitable home in the city, but that in itself isn't enough. It also requires homes for them to move into, and that those homes are not filled by newly created households, instead of the city's current existing homeless population. To ensure this, the homelessness now affects demand in two different ways. It causes fewer new households to spawn, while increasing the demand for high-density residential housing. So now zoning in that low rent housing should actually make an impact on your homeless population. And depending on how many homeless households your city has, it may take a while for all of them get back on their feet or find a way out of the city. You can also help this process along by fulfilling the demand for residential zoning and providing public transportation out of the city, such as intercity buses or trains. And that does it for 1.1.8, a pretty short and sweet patch, but my word, possibly one of the most impactful. I personally am enormously happy to see props enter the vanilla experience. All I need now is the line tool and a toggleable collision, and I think we'll probably start work on our City Skylines 2 Noobs Guide. I really wanted to wait for that vanilla experience to really jump forward alongside the mods. And it seems that Colossal Order are listening to our feedback. I really didn't think we'd get props in the vanilla experience, and especially so many of them. Hopefully we'll get more as the game continues to grow. Either way, massive shout out to all the patrons supporting the channel, with a special roll call to Louis Adlam and Oh Hey Casino if you're interested in that. Patreon and instant gaming links are down below. Do let me know what you think of this one. Otherwise I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much indeed for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.